I just learned from trial and error. Then you know what I mean. When you in the different places and with different people, you learn different stuff from them. You know what I mean. So this one I'm cooking today is a little basic. You know what I mean.
Okay.
Like when I'm just on a hungry.
Yeah.
Want to cook something real quick, lay down before I, eat before I watch the game or something.
Bottom line.
That's it.
The views, opinions, and stories shared on this show are based on personal experiences of the hosts and guests. They are intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Some content may include mature themes, strong language, or descriptions of past criminal activity. These accounts do not glorify or promote illegal behavior. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Deserve to eat like this. Pull up. Let me feed you.
You deserve to eat like this. Let me feed you.
2832 Ridge Avenue. Let me feed you. So what you about to do, bro?
I might whip up a little personal joint.
A personal drink?
Yeah, a little personal joint. You know what I mean? 2 soups. You know what I mean? You don't put too much soup in there because I don't want it to be too big. It's only me.
Heard that.
I got the chip bag. I got to dump the chips out because I like to cook in the, the aluminum make the water stay hotter longer, so make it cook a little better.
Yeah. Keep them fun.
Cook a little better than a trash bag. You know what I mean?
Keep them fun.
Even though I don't waste the potato chips, I still.
Yeah, I know that's right. So when you got booked, who taught you how to cook, or you just?
Listen, you gonna learn or you gonna starve, you know what I mean? And then it's like if you got somebody cooking for you or cooking with you all the time, that means you gotta feed them every time.
Every time.
So, sometimes in there, how you get a little tight. I know you're a chef. You're a chef now. You know, so we all about charity, but sometimes it ain't there. You know what I mean? It ain't there sometimes.
So, like I was watching them, because it's a lot different, the methods.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Than hot water.
Only put a little bit of curls in there for some color. You know what I mean?
A little bit of curls?
Yeah, make it lock up. You know what I mean? It's like baking soda. Make it lock up. Yeah. You don't want to use too much.
For sure. Hey, yo, what's going on? It's your girl, Side Money Bags, beauty, shirt, point size, policy, or whatever. Y'all know what goes on this side. And today you are tuned into another episode of Chatting Over Chi-Chis, and I got one of my favorite humans in the building today. You heard me? I got one of my favorite humans, my brother, Spade.
I was looking for your favorite human, you know what I
mean? Don't do that.
What's up, Chris? How you?
What's up, bro? How you?
I'm good.
So welcome to Chatting Over Chi-Chis. I'm so excited. I didn't even have to pull teeth for none of that to get you here. It was so easy.
You already know, you know.
I appreciate that.
You always can twist my arm, you know.
I appreciate that. All right, so let's start from the beginning. What was home like for young Spado?
I mean, I grew up, my mom was just a soldier, raised 5 from the muscle, you know what I mean? Got up, went to work every day, worked long days, so it was like, I really kind of was like a latchkey kid, you know what I mean? I had to come home from school, make my own sandwich, you know what I mean? Do all that type stuff, until she got home from work, man. But I had a good childhood, man. My mom, I always had what I needed, you know what I mean? Even if I didn't necessarily always have what I wanted, you know what I mean?
For sure. And what part of the city are you from?
I'm from Nicetown, yep.
Nicetown. And what kind of environment was that?
I mean, it was rough. It was rough, you know what I mean? It's like any other North Philly neighborhood and, any inner city of Philadelphia or America for that. But I mean, that's kind of where I grew my love of hip hop, you know what I mean?
For sure.
From
so that's crazy. I was about to ask you, like, who or what influenced, like, your younger years?
Like 85, 86, 87, they used to have DJ things in Stanton Park, you know what I mean? When I was a little kid. And from my mom's front porch, you can look right in Stanton Park. And my mom, stay out that park. Boy, everybody up there doing it. But, that's back in the day, back when you could plug into the light pole, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, the DJs like Cash Money and Jazzy Jeff and Cosmic Kev and, those guys used to come up every Sunday and they just used to DJ and play music. And I was like, that's how I first started loving hip-hop.
Okay. And I was about to say, did you always see yourself rapping or was it more like survival?
No, I never thought I would, you know what I'm saying? I never thought about being a rapper because, in them days, nobody from Philly was a rapper, you know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't have other than EST, you know what I mean? Shout out to him, you know what I mean? 3 times dope, but it was like, it was no other, he was more like an outlier than it was a normal thing. Like maybe for a guy from New York, like they used to say New York rappers, you know what I mean? Philly was like kind of, strange to be a rapper. But you know, some friends of mine from Nicetown I grew up with, they was rapping. And one day I was like, man, you know, I'm gonna try and write me a rap. You know what I mean? And I wrote one, and they was like, man, that's good. And then I just kept going. You know what I mean?
How young were you when you first touched the streets?
I was 13 when I first started hustling. You know what I mean? Cause like I said, it was like sometimes I had a little too much idle time.
Yeah.
Then it was like, you know, like I said, my mom, you know, made sure I had what I needed, but not the stuff that I wanted. So it was like, you know, back in them days, money was flowing through the streets. So, you know, I could go out there for a few hours, pick up a few packs and make a few dollars, you know, and get the things that I wanted. You know what I mean?
There you go. If you could describe your childhood in one word, what would it be?
I would say I was adventurous. You know what I mean? I would always try stuff. You know, I was a jack of all trades. I played a lot of sports. I did a lot of things, and I was always a person that was into a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And I got exposed to a lot of different things. You know what I mean? You know, my mom just raising five, she did a great job of making sure I was cultured. You know what I'm saying? She took me to the museum and to this and to that, and put me on an airplane when I was young. Took me on a trip. You know what I'm saying? So she made sure I saw some things, so that way I was a little seasoned. You know what I mean? As I got older.
Gotcha. So now, your rap group, right? Major Figures. When y'all came together, what was the mindset?
Man, like I said, then being a rapper wasn't really the cool thing. So it was like we just started. We was just hungry, and we was like in so much of competition because you know when we used to go to New York, they wouldn't even let us in the building at times. You know what I mean? We was running up on niggas rapping in restaurants. You know what I mean? Oh, such and such there, we running up on them. I mean, and that shout out, especially you know, shout out to DJ Clark Kent who tragically passed away, but he was the first guy from New York that was like, no, y'all dope. And he used to just run us around. He'd be like, yo, Rough Riders over at this studio. He'd take us over there. Or he'd be like, somebody, they had Justin's, and we'd go over there. We'd go there. Like, we just used to run around and just go up there. We used to go to New York like almost every day and just, you know what I mean? Just do what we do.
Right. And y'all had the streets buzzing. Y'all was heavy. And what was the early studio sessions like?
It was like be the best man win. You know what I mean? It was like it was so good because it was like it was a competitive creativity. You know what I'm saying? It was like 9, 10 of us in there, so it was like 9, 10 people can't be on the song. You know what I mean? So it's like me the best man win. You know what I mean? And I always used to give myself a leg up because you know, back in the day, everybody, I used to call it the sticky finger syndrome. Everybody wanted to rap last on the song. You know what I mean? But that, you know, that like signified you was the best. But I was like the opposite. I'm like, no, I'm going to rap first. Because I'm a big believer in the first 30 seconds, the most important part of a song. If the first 30 don't catch you, or the first 4 bars of your verse ain't, people out of there, they pushing the next joint. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
If you notice most of the Major Figure songs, I rap first on almost all of them.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm not a guy that like to be in the studio all night. I'm like, oh, let me just do my verse.
Lay my side of the dip.
Yeah, I'm ready to dip. I got shit to do. You know what I mean?
Who was pushing the hardest in the crew, making sure that the movement didn't die?
You mean as we was doing it, or when I was away?
When you was both.
Well, I mean, as I was, it was like even we all was working. Like you know what I mean? We all was like working hard as hell. We was all consistent. Like we lived in the studio every day. We really didn't do nothing. Like we hung together, we went to the studio, we went home. Like we didn't really, so it was like a push. You didn't want to be Mr. Studio Session because you didn't want to be the one to miss the hit. You know what I mean? Because I know all of us in the group, it was a song we would have been on if we had made it to the studio. They like, God damn, I should have made it when we did this. You know what I mean? But it was cool. But then once I was away, it was like, you know, Lava always been working just behind the scenes and doing stuff. So Lava's always in the industry moving around. But Gil was like kind of keeping it going because Gil, you know, was with the young, you know, the Meeks and the Reed Dollars and the Georgia Has like during their early parts of their career. So Gil was just moving. You know, I was in the mountains, so I didn't really get a chance to, I just would get it from people coming up telling me what's going on out there. I couldn't really hear it, you know what I'm saying? I could feel it, but I couldn't hear it, you know what I mean?
When you look back, do you feel like you chose the streets or the streets chose you?
I mean, I you know, I think I probably chose, you know what I mean? You always a choice, you know what I mean? It's always a decision, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you know, nobody, man, I had to, you know what I'm saying? Because people that come from the same circumstance as us that did it another way, so it is possible. So I chose, you know what I mean?
What ran through your mind when you got sentenced?
It was really kind of closure for me, you know what I mean? Because it was like, hey, all right, well, now I know how high the mountain is, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna start walking, you know what I mean?
Bro, that's crazy you say that, right? I remember I skipped back on the unit.
Yeah, because you
like skipped back on the unit. They like the then was first she about to go home.
Yeah, but
they said, how much time they got? 10 years, nigga, I'm ready to go lay down.
Yeah, at least I
you
know.
know
now.
you going
yeah,
from here, right?
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you, I was able to sleep.
Yeah, you don't know.
At least
not
you
knowing,
know. Yeah, that
not
knowing
knowing is
be.
like that's the hardest part. The anticipation of what's going to happen, and once this closure is like, it's a deep breath. It's like, damn.
At least you know what you
know what I mean?
For sure. What was the hardest adjustment going from the fast life to the cell
life? You said for what? Going from the fast life to what?
The cell life.
Just you know the stuff you're used to, and like you like, damn man. First thing was the food. Like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? The first time a jail tray get in front of you, like, man, what the fuck? I was just eating such and such. Now I gotta eat this shit. What is this? Like, you know what I mean? It take a few days to adjust to that, but then it was just like, you know, you never understand how valuable your freedom and your free will is until it's taken away from you. And it's like, you know what I mean? Them sounds, them keys, them doors locking behind you every time you go through one. You know what I mean? It's like,
trying to tell you.
Yeah, being controlled, being told what to do 24/7. It's a tough joint. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's been good too. It's getting good.
Yeah.
It's coming together.
It's coming together.
Yep.
Did you ever feel forgotten about?
At times, but I kind of did that to myself, because you know sometimes when you in there after a while, you start trying to kind of isolate in yourself. You know what I mean? Because you go through that bitter stage. You know what I mean? When you're mad at everybody, and then you go through that stage where you take that self accountability stage. Absolutely. That's a rough joint.
Listen, accountability.
Like when you like, damn, I really doing dumb stuff. You know what I mean? That's the hardest phase. So it's like, I never really felt forgotten, man. I always had at least a few people that was always in my corner, so I'm grateful for that.
Making sure them pictures and stuff came through.
Yeah, I mean, people made sure
them pictures and stuff was
there. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
What did them years teach you about loyalty, brotherhood, and the meaning of the world?
About loyalty, it taught me that loyalty got many definitions, and you can't expect people to do stupid shit under the guise of loyalty. You can't expect people to be dumb for you and just say it's loyalty. You know what I mean? And sometimes people expect that from people.
Damn.
Like chill out. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And then brotherhood is brotherhood, man. Brotherhood, it lets you know that real brotherhood is unconditional. You know what I'm saying? And part of brotherhood is understanding that man got a family. Like, he can't send you that money. He can't, you know what I mean? The man go to work. He can't pick up the phone all the time. You know what I mean? That man got life going on too. That's part of the brotherhood too. You know what I mean? And it changed my whole definition of what real is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Because, I mean, what's real? You know what I mean? They move the goalposts every day. I'm talking about street definition of real. Like, they move the goalposts for that every day. So it's every day. I don't even be worried about being street real.
I'm trying to tell you, because it'd be some real suckers.
Yeah. I don't even want to be called
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah.
They don't even worry about it.
Yeah,
I'm on the pavement. I don't even in the streets. I don't even do the streets.
Facts.
When did the shift happen for you? When you told yourself, like, I can't come back in here the same way?
I was released from my state bid in 2013. And then, you know, everything was cool. I was out the way. I had some good people, you know, and I was able to live. You know what I mean? I had a soft landing. People made sure I was all right. But then, you know, after a couple years, things got a little uncomfortable. And I went back to what I knew. You know what I mean? And then I got locked back up in 2016 and caught a case. And I sat in the county for 13 months until 2017. That's when the light bulb kicked, because now I'm the old nigga in jail. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? And everybody calling me Unc and all of that. And I'm like, yo, I'm too old to be here. I'm like, damn, I'm Unc in the joint. Yeah. I'm like, oh, no, that's not no good. So it was like, you know, and I've just made the decision right there. I was like, man, you know, I got a second chance, you know what I mean? And many people don't get a third. And I was like, man, you know, I ain't going to spit in a law's face again. You know what I mean? And I just, that point was like, all right, I'm out. You know what I mean?
That's heavy. Yeah. When you think back to the young boy version of Spade, what would you tell him right now?
Take your time. You know what I mean? Walk past the breadcrumbs. It's a bread factory at the corner. If you just keep your focus and just stay straight. You know what I mean? And just don't look for instant gratification, man. It's a marathon. You know what I mean? It ain't a sprint, it's a marathon.
For sure. Do you feel like a part of you had to die to survive prison?
Of course, the part of you gotta die because if you keep that connection and you so worried about what's going on out here every day, gonna feel like a century. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Sure.
and it's I tell everybody, every day you spend in jail, a little piece of you die.
Mm-hmm.
It just do. But a lot of the stuff need to die. You know what I mean? A
Thanks.
lot of the stuff that
Absolutely.
dies is things that you needed to die in order for you to
Absolutely.
grow. You know what I mean? Trees don't keep the same leaves. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
So,
How was the first day out? What hit the hardest?
um, just crazy. The first day I got my first pass out the halfway house, when I came out the door and the door shut behind me, I wanted to run back in that motherfucker. I was like, yo, because it was like everything was moving fast. The cars were speeding past. And I'm on Kentucky, so I'm on Whitaker Avenue. Everybody's speeding by.
Every way.
Then a cat ran across, and I'm like, damn, I ain't seen a cat in years. You know what I mean? It was just like little stuff that people take for granted if you never lost it. But it was like things and cross the street in over a decade. You know what I'm saying? So it was like it was odd for me. I was like kind of nervous about crossing the street. You know what I mean? It was the small things. You know what I mean?
The small things, man.
Small things, yeah.
Didn't see a cat in freaking
man.
Over a decade.
Yeah, like it's weird. I mean, the sounds, the smells. You know what I mean?
It's like it be the smallest things.
It's different.
Seeing a car drive by.
It's different, yeah.
How's your relationship with music now? Therapy, passion, or is it still a hustle?
It's just therapy. You know what I mean? It's not really a hustle, but I do try to just give sincere advice to the younger people that's doing things because I want to see them live their dream. You know what I mean? It was like I kind of been there, done that, and it was like I always tell people, how many people you seen climb Mount Everest twice? You know what I mean? It's like once you've done it, been there, done that, it's kind of like And I love the game from the other side now. I love to see young people coming up and being successful and and doing it their way.
And that's heavy because a lot of people can't let go in that regard. And you still got it. Like it ain't even like it's just because you missing steps, because you definitely still got it. So that's thorough that you can even say that.
Well, I don't really care. I never really cared that much about being famous. You know what I mean? So it's like some people can't let the tension go. It's that's not the craft, because some of them don't even take their time with the craft anymore. They just in there copying and pasting. They just love the attention. You know what I mean? So they'll do anything to keep it. You know what I mean?
What's the difference about your message today compared to before?
Today I do a lot of mentoring, not just with youth, but some adults. And it's I just try to just articulate to them, you can't make everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? Even if you hit the lottery and give everybody $1 million, it's gonna be somebody say that bitch ass nigga could have gave me $2. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't please everybody. At some point you gotta live your life for the people that's important. And the most important person is yourself first. You know what I mean? And then second all, take care of you and yours. And I tell them, y'all worried about being real niggas, how about worrying about being good niggas? You know what I mean? And just like what's realer than taking care of the people that took care of you, that's in your family and in your community. You know what I mean? So
when you tell your story now, how do you make sure the lesson hits harder than the lifestyle?
Because I just try to make sure I practice what I preach. You know what I mean? I try to make sure I'm a living, breathing example of what's possible to them. You know what I mean? It's like when I tell my story, I always remind them. I don't glorify the dumb shit. I always remind them this is on the other side once you make that transition and you choose to, to do something else. You know what I mean?
For sure. If a youngin right now got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, what would you say to him from real experience?
You got 2 feet in. You know what I'm saying? There's no, you can't, if you stick your toe in the street, you know what I'm saying? You're in the street.
You're out there.
So it's no like, if you in and out, you should be all the way in or all the way out because it's dangerous being in and out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because when you make your decisions as a person that's in the street, you got to do that with in mind. But if you're doing it both ways, you're going to put yourself in that jam. Then I tell them what's out here.
Thanks. What's one rule the streets taught you and one lesson prison taught you?
The streets taught me don't ever let nobody disappoint or surprise you. You know what I mean? It's like, because the minute you do that, you know what I mean, you lost. You know what I mean? Always expect the unexpected. And prison taught me, you don't make mistakes, you make decisions. You know what I mean? And as long as you use the excuse that you make mistakes, you're gonna continue to make bad decisions. You know what I mean? So
Right. How do you handle people who still see the old you and not the man you became?
I mean, I really don't. You know what I mean? I gotta live my life for me, and at the end of the day, it's like Dr. King said, even when if you murder the lie gonna live. So some people just determined to just dislike you.
For sure.
You know what I mean? No matter what you do, they're determined
Absolutely.
to dislike you. So that's okay.
You think redemption real out here?
I do, because I see a bunch of juvenile lifers out here doing amazing community work. I see a bunch of guys that I know is cold-blooded killers that work in the community. You ride by, I see dudes that was running around and they work for the water department, the gas company, to this, to that, being they at the football game with the kids. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's possible. Redemption for sure is possible because people appreciate honesty and truth and sincerity. The reality is the people that come from what we come from is the only ones that you can relate to.
Bottom line.
Because we the only ones that can really truly relate to them. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because they don't got the excuse when I talk to them to say, you ain't never been through this, old head. You can't say that to me. You know what I mean?
For sure. Absolutely. I ain't gonna even think to say that.
Yeah, you can't.
For sure. What's one commissary item that can't be traded?
It's a few of them. Because they like essentials.
What's the essentials can't be traded?
Like, you could trade the cheese, man. Like, you need the cheese is like, if you don't got no cheese, I don't care what you make, it don't taste the same.
Oh, for sure.
It's not right. Even when you make these cheese on the street, you don't got the gel jalapeno. It don't taste the same. It don't taste the same.
It's over. Don't even worry about
it. Yeah, for sure. It's over. You just try to duplicate. You know what I mean? It's not the real thing.
For sure. Give me a funny prison story.
I ain't got many funny prison stories. You know what I mean?
Witness nothing.
I've seen a bunch of stuff, but some of that stuff I just try to forget. You know what I mean? Real rap is like, yo, you seen so much. I think that's the part of the part people don't understand because like they always think about the bad things about prison, but there are some good days in prison, man. And you like, yo, you get around some good people sometimes. You know what I mean? That just made some bad decisions, that had some bad situations. So I got you know what I'm saying? I had a million good days. You know what I mean?
So what's one of the greatest jewels that you received from being in there from somebody, from an old head or something?
What I just said, and that was an old head taught me that. There's an old head named Salim Barlow from Harrisburg. He's a juvenile lifer who came home, and he fell in 1966. Yeah, he did over 50 years in prison. You know what I mean? You probably know his co-defendant because she had the longest female. She was the longest incarcerated female in Pennsylvania. That's his co-defendant. It was 3 of them on a bank robbery in Harrisburg.
Okay.
And it was like 2, 3. I was like 3 years in. He's like, "Come here, young," and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, I see you walking around here. I hear good things about you, and everybody like you, and they respect you, but you ain't like them. You kind of chill. You smart. You did it up." He was like, "What you think brought you here?" I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, I was like, "I caught a case." Like, you know what I'm saying? What you mean? What brought me here? You know what I mean? He's like, "Well, you feel like you just made a mistake, or you feel like you made a decision?" And I said, "Nah, I was like, man, I made a mistake." He said, "Okay, all right." This motherfucker walked by me for 9 months, ain't speak to me, ain't say nothing to me, nothing. Then like after that 9 months, he stopped me again. He like, "Yo, mind you, like we've been talking this whole time. Yeah. Yo, what's up, yo? Hey, yo, Spade, again, man, what you think, man? You feel like you made a mistake or you made a decision?" And I was like, "Man, you come in here for making a mistake." He said, "Okay." And he did that shit again. Ain't speak. So this going for like 7 years.
Right.
Back and forth. I'm talking about us not speaking 9 months to a year at a time. And then one day he stopped me. And he's like, "Man, his shit a little grayer. You know what I mean? He older. I'm older." I'm like, "Man, I made a decision." He was like, "You really understand that?" I said, "No, I just don't want you to stop." You know what I mean? I'm like, "No, I don't." You know what I'm saying? He's like, "You really feel that way?" I'm like, "No." I said, "But I don't want us to go through this and not, you know what I mean? Stop talking and stuff again." Right. And he said, "Nah." He said, "Listen, the reason why I tell you that," he said, "a man that always believes he making a mistake will continue to make bad decisions. Once a man accept he made bad decisions, he gonna limit the amount of mistakes he made." And he just simplified life for me right there.
No, seriously.
And I'm like, "Damn, you know what? You're right." And I tell people that all the time, and that stuck to my ribs. You know what I mean? For forever.
Sure. That's heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a great takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get into my final question, I gotta say, what's next for you? What you working on?
I work for the CCIP program, the Community Crisis Intervention Program. So I do a lot of community-based stuff, and now I'm spearheading, directing a program called ICCIP. Now I'm in the jail, so I'm on State Road now.
Nice.
And I also work at the Juvenile Justice Center in the Torrent Youth. So I'm in the jails now. So I'm at PIC right now, but eventually I'm gonna be in all the state. Me and my group gonna be in all the state jails. I mean the county jails, and I'm just like that's my new passion now. You know what I'm saying? Trying to redirect the lives of the young men and women in the city that's a little, you know what I'm saying? They drifting a little left. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes man, you gotta grab the wheel like you drifting. You know what I mean?
Because they don't even see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And sometimes all they want when I get to talk to them, they just want a non-judgmental ear so they can vent and talk. You know what I mean? And I just really realized, you get a lot of people say, man, the youth, man, these young boys is crazy. These young girls is crazy. They did this. Well, they're a product of our own failures, man. They're a reflection of us. You know what I mean? They're a reflection of our mistakes. Every generation get worse because they're a reflection of the mistakes of the generation before them. You know what I mean? So it's like I try to challenge people, like before you judge them, sit down and talk to one of them. You know what I mean? They dealing with untapped trauma. You know what I mean? They dealing with a lot of stuff that we didn't have to deal with.
Seriously.
You know, they're overstimulated with violence. You know what I mean? It's like they turn their phone on, they watching people get killed every day. Just we just could see
second nature.
Yeah, if we didn't watch the news or TV or something, we didn't really see that stuff. They can go on their phone, they can see who got killed in Chicago, Arkansas, Minnesota, France, Switzerland, wherever. They watching this stuff in real time every single day, and it's like they're a little overstimulated with that stuff. So I don't really judge them. You know, they dealing with pressures we didn't have to deal with. You know what I mean? They got a different type of peer pressure. Their peer pressure comes from the world. Our peer pressure came from our group that we was around.
For sure, absolutely. So, that's heavy.
So if you're around, man, you get involved, you're sturdy, you know what I'm saying? Not even you're not sturdy, man. Get involved, man. Get involved with the people, get involved with your community, talk to the people, man. Talk to the young people. Try to help them before you condemn them. Talk to them first.
Absolutely. And the final question that I ask everybody is, do you think a male or female returning to society from incarceration should get into a relationship or marriage?
It depends, because sometimes it depends on how in touch you are with yourself. You know what I mean? I made the mistake of coming right home and doing that. And, not because I didn't love the person, they didn't love me. It's the fact that you're different. Sometimes people love who you were, not who you are. You feel what I'm saying? And it take a while for the people to adjust. You gotta understand, when you're going for a long time, the world survived without you for all that time. So did the people in your universe. Although y'all may have a relationship throughout your bid and y'all this, that, and the third, they still essentially been living without you.
For sure.
So sometimes it put a lot of unnecessary pressure on the relationship because you're a different person and you dealing with trauma, you dealing with stuff. You lived in an inhumane circumstance for whatever amount of time. So to come home to a loving, comfortable home, it don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? It's like uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Because you used to live in a certain way. Sometimes you're a little too stern, you're a little too militant, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how you had to be, and it's hard to be affectionate and loving and caring when you got that. Like you said, a little piece of you die every day. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, they say, what's the biggest thing from you before you went in to now? And it's like, yo, I don't smile as much as I used to. You know what I mean? Because it's just different. You know what I mean? And that's hard on the other person. Sometimes it's unfair. You know what I mean? Because you can't provide the type of affection that they probably deserve. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So my advice is know your situation, and if a person patient with you and y'all patient with each other, then go ahead and ride it out.
But see, I just feel like it's nearly impossible for them to even know if they're gonna be able to be patient with you, because for one, what we know is to exist in an environment such as incarceration, you have to become a different person.
Absolutely.
Right? So the old you can't even exist in there if you wanted it to.
Absolutely.
So besides that person dying, the person you had to become for this environment to exist inside of, you had to go home and unlearn all of these behaviors, plus the ones that died, and all of that, and readjust to this new society that changes every day.
For sure.
You can't offer yourself to nobody.
That's true, but
and trying to do so, you end up losing more and more of yourself, and then it's like a battle with yourself, right? And then with them, because it's nothing personal to you, right? It's not you, it's not me. It's just I got to get me together. So I just feel like, personally, people coming home from prison shouldn't get in a relationship. This is me. I feel like they should come home. I came home and got married. I think that was the worst decision I've ever made. But and it's constant among us. Like everybody says the same thing. I don't really know too many of us that came home, got in a relationship, and still surviving.
Yeah.
If they are, heads off. But
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not really a thing because when you're strapped, first of all, nobody sits in prison and don't come up with goals and things that they have to achieve when they get out here.
Right.
So then you got to figure out how to do all of this stuff.
Facts.
And it's not, you don't even know how to do it because you don't even know all the things that I got in me that I want to do. Like, so it's nothing to you. There's not really much you can do because mentally I have to develop and be the man or woman that I have to be to survive in this new society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It has nothing to do with the other person, but they get so bent on how could you do this to me? It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. It's like, it's an unfortunate situation. I feel like when you get in that situation, people end up hurting even more. So.
I mean, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's tough, but you know, like I said, it's you know, women, especially women, y'all more resilient and y'all more patient. Y'all ride or die with us. You know what I mean? Y'all go through a bunch of stuff with us, and y'all always normally end up with the short end of the stick. But I mean, yeah, it's tough. You know, I only can speak on my personal experience, and it was like I didn't even know I was different. You feel what I'm saying? When you come home, you don't know because you've been living your life, and then it's like when you're around, it's like people like that. You need to loosen up for this and this and all. Yeah, loosen, like what you mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't really know that you know what I mean, you're different. You don't know it. So it is unfair, especially if you've been with a person throughout your, you know, if you already was in a relationship. You know what I mean? Now I would never advise somebody to come right home and jump into something. Because it's like, whoa, find yourself, get yourself together, find yourself. Because a man can't be comfortable with anybody till he's comfortable with himself. You know what I mean? If he's not where he's want to be in life, he always gonna be unhappy. It don't matter if he got the most beautiful, most successful, most whatever woman on earth, he's gonna be unhappy because he's not happy with himself.
Absolutely.
So that's always gonna be a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So get your shit together first.
Bottom line. That's
you know what I mean? And if you with someone and y'all gonna figure it out, figure it out. The one thing about it, make sure you mature enough to understand that they was living their life while you was away. So if you gonna come home and say I heard you was messing with John and Joe and this and that third, listen. You went to jail for umpteen years. What was she going to do? You know what I mean? So if you're not mature enough to accept that, then, you know, go ahead and, you know, cut that tie. You know what I mean? Before you come home. Don't hurt nobody's feelings. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Or your own. You know what I mean?
There you go.
You know.
So I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Chatting Over Chi-Chis with your girl, Side Money Bags, Beauty Trade Queen. Make sure y'all following, liking, subscribing to the channel, Chatting Over Chi-Chis, all the socials, Lockdown Love, SY_Moneybags, and Size Palace. And make sure y'all follow my brother.
Yeah, the real Spade everywhere, DAREAL SPADO on all platforms, but you know, I ain't gonna lie, my shit a little dry because I don't really be on my stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't really be having the time, but you know, follow me, yo. I'm an interesting guy, so just, you know, check it out.
Absolutely. We out.
Yeah. Step into space. Black Wall Street, podcast space. Book my spot, now I'm ready to create. Black Wall Street, podcast space. Dreams, I'm building my fate. Mic in my hand, got story to tell. Comfort in the room, man, I'm feeling myself.
Sounds so clear, you can hear my ambition. Black Wall Street podcast space made an easy transition. So book your space, let your voice be heard. Black Wall Street podcast, spread the word.